Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out Entitled Parents. Story 1. I think I may have entitled parents. Hello, this is my first EP post because I only just found the sub, but yet, hope you enjoy the thing. I'm probably going to be bullet pointing as I am kind of just wanting to know if they're entitled, but here goes. Is my parents needing to know all my passwords entitled? Is my mum threatening to take my bedroom door because I tried to do homework with the door closed entitled? Is my parents always thinking I'm up to something entitled? Is 3:05 p.m. 6 p.m. strict screen time in the week and 1:30 p.m. 6 p.m. screen time at the weekend entitled? Are my parents entitled for always going through my messages and even going as far to comment on some of the things said? Is it entitled for my parents to yell at me all the time over the littlest of things? Is it entitled for my parents to hide my devices away from me and then complain when I ask them to get them? Is my mum entitled for throwing a fit when I need to use my laptop in my room to do a group project? Context: I have a group project for my history class, in which I needed to create some artwork. I had been on holiday the previous week. School holidays, go figure, and so hadn't been able to do it then. The day before it is due, I tell my mum I need my laptop so that I can do my group project, and she starts ranting at me that I should have done it sooner and that I'll need to wait until she can sit with me while I do it. Bear in mind that the last time I let her do that she started complaining that I was wasting her time by making her sit next to me. Why could I just be trustworthy? She told me I was going to fail because I can never get on with doing work. I replied that it's much harder to get on with work when you have people ranting on at you all of the time. She got so aggressive, and tried to take my video games for a week, which I deem completely unreasonable as I try to do my homework in peace. This ties in with the bedroom door story. I try to close my door as I am finally in my room with my laptop, and she comes storming in telling me that if I close my door she is going to take it off the hinges and I'll never get a door back again. She is just telling me that I will just go straight onto Minecraft as soon as she leaves. For the record, I have been working for the past 4 hours without losing focus, so she is completely unhinged. I just have an inkling of feeling that my parents are entitled due to some of the stories I've read/heard. Please provide any helpful input in the Story 2. No, I literally can't go there, but karma is a. We were booked to go out for a meal for a teammate who was leaving. He asked to go for an Indian. I'm a celiac and this is one of the places where I can always get food without worrying about cross-contamination, so for once, I was able to accept the invite. An hour before we are about to leave, one of the people on a different team says that he doesn't want to go for an Indian but instead wants to go to the local brewery for a meal and a beer. The guy whines until my teammate agrees. When they go to leave, I wish my teammate good luck in the future and hope he enjoys his evening. Cue shocked look from him. Why am I not going, dude? We're worked together for 3 years and you know I'm allergic to gluten and you want to have a leaving do in a brewery where they make beer around where you eat. Teammate looks shocked and tells me it's not a big deal, just come. Seriously, it's a big deal. He says that he wants me there and I say, it's okay but I really can't go to that place. The guy who forced the change of venue overhears it and tells me I'm being difficult. I should just suck it up. Just because no one wanted to go for an Indian, I shouldn't sulk. Thing is, I get it. It's his leaving due. He gets to choose where he wants to go and if I can't attend, then I can't attend. That's just how it goes. I try and minimize it and not be a pain. They made it into an international scandal by doubling down on me and calling me out for not being a good colleague. I packed my bags and left. Now here is the karma. The beer was off and they were all ill the next day. The microbrewery got closed down a few weeks later. When the guy from the other team was moaning next day about how ill he was, he turns to me and says, "You're lucky you didn't go because you'd have been ill too." What? I ask. Yeah, he says, you'd have been ill from drinking the beer. I looked at him and said, you really don't understand why I couldn't go to the brewery at all, do you? In the end, everyone who went to the meal had to go home and were off for a couple of days apart from one teammate who turns out, doesn't drink. I left a few months later as the whole place was toxic. Story 3. Older entitled parents. I hope this fits. My daughter just graduated high school, second in her class, headed to a top-notch university and beautiful too. She looks just like me, so I'm a bit biased. Here comes the entitled part. My parents. My daughter was born 18 years ago as my son. She is not my son today, she is my daughter. Period. She worked her ass off and deserved to be celebrated at her graduation and every day. She was introduced with her chosen name and not her dead name. Her diploma is also in her name. Here's the entitled part. My parents expected me to disown my daughter because of their transphobic beliefs. You see, I'm a huge POS in their eyes because I chose my daughter over my parents. My entitled parents, who didn't raise me, expected to be more important than my child. They refused to attend graduation, their loss. Her speech was amazing, and are now posting the fabulous religious FB posts about burning in hell. I'm a proud POS and will always choose my child. This is my first post on this sub and I hope it fit. Story 4. I'm sure she loves you only in her own way. We call this excuse to be the BS that it is? I'm the product of a one-night stand. Obviously, I'm not the golden child. My worth is based on what service I provide to my mother, starting with being parent-iffied at age 9. When I finally got my fill of lies and manipulation, I decided, upon careful consideration, to permanently break ties. M is content to give me years of silent treatment, but never expected me to walk away. Her? Perhaps. But never me. Of course, the flying monkeys and well-meaning friends begged me to reconsider. When I pointed out that literally no one mentioned her loving me, the answer would always be the same: I'm sure she loves you in her own way. Okay. WTAF? What I hear, whenever I am told this, is that even outsiders don't recognize any expression of affection. But to these people, a mother has to love their child, so maybe they just can't recognize it. Again. This is BS. Love and affection is easy to recognize. If someone has to use this pitiful excuse, it's obvious that they are trying to insert a healthy relationship where there is none. The fault lies with their inability to not see that a mother can feel indifference toward their child. Thoughts? Story 5. M assaults me after her daughter steals my candy. This happened almost 6 years ago. I had just turned 20. At the time, I was a college student with no job, but I occasionally worked as a babysitter. It wasn't anything too serious and I charged almost nothing, but I was good with kids and parents liked me. Plus, it was the first job I ever had, so I was proud of it. During vacations, I went to the mall with 3 of my friends to see Spider-Man: Homecoming at the movies. We got there early, and decided to stop at a toy store so one of my friends could buy a birthday gift for his cousin. There was a candy kiosk nearby, and I wanted to get some for the movie, so I told my friends to go ahead without me, and I'd meet them in the store. As I was buying the candy, the store was giving out samples of a new product. It was some kind of long chocolate stick, think Pocky, but thicker. They gave me one for free, and I left. I bit into it once or twice and went back to the store to meet my friends. As I was walking through the doll aisle, I passed by a little girl, about 7 or 8, and her mother, M. I put my hand that was holding the chocolate down for a second. Seconds later, the girl came up to me, quickly snatched the candy from my hand and shoved the piece she'd broken off in her mouth. I yelled out a quick "What the hell?" Careful not to swear at kids, which got M's attention. I explained what had happened to her. To my absolute shock at the time, the mom seemed to be angry at the daughter at first, demanding she'd apologize to me. But the girl was making excuses: she was hungry, the chocolate was right in front of her, she wanted it more than me, and seemed to think she had nothing to apologize for. As she proceeded to tell her mom she'd done nothing wrong, Em said something along the lines of, "I know, honey, but we don't want the lady to call security now, do we?" What? Em then turned back to me, "I mean really, my daughter is 8 years old. You're a grown woman. You shouldn't be making such a big deal about chocolate." I pointed out that if she wanted candy, they could literally get some for free at the kiosk herself. There was no need to steal mine. Em continued to defend her daughter, insisting that I might as well just get more chocolate myself. I was pissed, but I didn't want things to get blown out of proportion. For some reason, though, I hoped the daughter would at least begin to understand why she couldn't go around stealing people's food. So I said, "Ma'am, I'm trying really hard to be patient here. I'm a nanny. But how could it possibly be okay for your daughter to steal candy from a complete stranger like that?" Next thing I know, my face was burning and there was a large handprint across my cheek. Em also had large rings that almost broke my skin. She was screaming at me, but I was too shocked to pay attention. One of my friends heard the commotion and came to see what was going on. I told him Em had slapped me, so he called security. Before they could arrive, Em told her daughter not to tell them anything. Me and my friend exchanged looks, and silently agreed we'd be better parents in the future. The Paul Blarts came and escorted Em and her daughter out. I later found out they'd been banned from the toy store for their troubles, and that was more than enough for me. I ended up buying more chocolate sticks. I hope that kid turned out okay. Story 6. My mom says I make no effort. My parents live about 5 hours away from us by car and we have a toddler, 20 months, so as you can imagine, we don't take trips very often because she absolutely loathes long car rides. We drove an hour away last weekend for a family get-together on So's side, and we had to make a stop because she was so upset. And yes, we've tried all the things. She just hates being in the car and it's been this way since she was a young baby. Anyway, my mom has been badgering us to come visit them because it's our turn since they came to us for Easter. I on the other hand just don't want to because we have a lot going on and mostly because traveling with our toddler is really difficult. This turned into a huge argument about how I don't make any effort to see them and that I'm keeping her from our daughter, and that's not the case at all. I then told her that I FaceTime almost every day and send her numerous pictures and videos on a daily basis, so the whole lack of effort argument is invalid. So of course she brings up the fact that I'm not the only one who has a toddler who hates the car and that I should just suck it up and deal with it. Then the argument took a turn and she started bringing up how I didn't do anything for her for Mother's Day and that I didn't contribute to the group gift my siblings got her. I got her something else but it wasn't enough, and that she was disappointed to see that my name wasn't on their gift. Honestly? At this point I don't even want to fucking go see her because of this bullshit. Why does she act this way? Why the fuck would I want my daughter to have a relationship with someone like this? It's so disheartening. I'll always love my mom, but I'm considering taking a step back from my relationship with her because she clearly doesn't respect me. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.